Just want to share some of my thoughts on the Arsenal-Newcastle FA Cup tie that finished Arsenal 2, Newcastle nil. And, well, in typical Arsenal fashion, the victory didn't come easy. We left it late, very late, in fact, with, two goals, one from Emil Smith-Rowe and one from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, that both came in extra time. And, if we're looking at the match over the 90 minutes, I'd say that we got very lucky there. I think Newcastle had the better chances. The one that sticks out in my mind is the one that came right at the last minute of the 90, where Newcastle the goalkeeper kicked the ball forward to Murphy, I believe it was, who crossed the ball in. Anderson had a deflected shot, and then the ball fell to none other than Andy Carroll, and I thought, here we go again. I was getting flashbacks to the West Ham game many years ago where he scored a hat-trick against us, and the whole game I was just thinking, if there's anyone that it's going to be a 0-0 or something, and then he's going to pop up in the last 5 minutes and he's going to score against us. It was just written, but fortunately Bernd Leno made a great stop and saved us. He really did save us. And, just about 20 seconds after that, I think it was, Emil Smith-Rowe had tackled a Newcastle player, and the Newcastle player was screaming in agony. I was like, oh no, this is not good. And Emil Smith-Rowe got red, but fortunately the ref looked at VAR, and when he had a look, he overturned his decision because there was literally no contact at all. But in general, just giving that as a decision, he must have been influenced by the Newcastle player screaming in pain, because I don't know how you can give that otherwise. But regardless, as I mentioned earlier, we weren't incredible. There was some okay play, but our best chance in the 90 minutes probably came from, I think it was the Pepe cross into Joe Willock, who should have done better with the header. But besides that, we had a few half chances. There were a lot of shots from outside the box, but there weren't too many clear-cut opportunities. And creativity's been an issue for us the whole season, and it was present in this game as well. Before the match even started, we didn't have great news as Arsenal fans, as Gabriel Martinelli was injured in the warm-up, and he's just come off of a long layoff from a knee injury, and in the games that he's been back, he's really brought this energy, this pressing, and this exuberance to the side that we haven't had in a while, and that was immediately a blow. Reece Nelson came in for him, and I thought, oh, this would be a good chance for him to step up, show, maybe some of that form that he did when he was at loan on Hoffenheim, because it hasn't really been too good for him at Arsenal. And he was a bit disappointing that he had a shot early in the game, and there are a few moments where he was in a good area, like Tierney found him a couple of times, but his final touch and his shot just let him down a little. But I'm not pinning it on Reece Nelson by any means. A lot of the fringe players, the players that don't really get a look in for the Premier League squad that often, Cedric, Joe Willock, these players, they didn't show enough for me to really make a case for them to start in the Premier League games. Ideally, you want in these FA Cup ties to make changes, because you can't play the same 11 throughout this congested fixture schedule. And you want players to try and, put their best foot forward and really push to be in that starting 11 for the Premier League games, and I just didn't see it. I thought, Pepe was he was all right overall. He made some, there was some good passing. His movement was good. He got past his defenders quite well. But again, it was just that final ball or a shot. He seems like he's under a lot of pressure. Maybe he just wants to get that goal. There are a few moments where he took a long ranger when he could have, slipped the ball into Aubameyang or another attacker. And look, whilst I mentioned that players like Reece Nelson and Joe Willock didn't necessarily take their chance and impress against Newcastle, I still remember and recognise that these guys are kids, so there's going to be ups and downs there, and you just got to stick by them and hope that they do eventually come good. And when you look at a player like Willian, and I know he gets a lot of scrutiny and he's become a bit of a target, I guess you could say, he's just not been performing. And, in this game, I would give him a bit of leeway because he's been ill for a few weeks, but in general, his performances over the season in this match has just not been up to it. I can't really remember a good Willian performance in an Arsenal shirt, bar the Fulham performance, and that was at the start of the season, the very first game. And I think that tells you basically everything you need to know. He was brought into the squad to contribute goals and assists and be an experienced member, someone that the youngsters can look up to. But at the moment, it's almost like the other way round. Like Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, these players are having, greater output and contribution to the team than Willian, and that's baffling to me. But it is what it is. There were some overall signs of encouragement for me. Our play, although not super intricate or anything like that, I'm at least seeing signs that we're being a bit more penetrating. We're looking to attack a little more, and we can at least take something from that. But in general, most of the best things from the result were individual performers and individual players. The ones that stand out, of course, Emil Smith-Rowe, who got man of the match despite only coming on in the 56th minute. And he, has just done what he's done since he's got the chance in the team, really, which is just look to attack, be positive, drive with the ball. And that was just exemplified from the goal that he scored. He played a lovely 1-2 with Lacazette and finished the shot into the bottom left-hand corner off the post. We've also, of course, got to, give huge praise to Kieran Tierney, who, this guy, the greatest thing about him is that you can always expect his commitment, work rate to be up there all the time. But then when he can, burst past players with ease and put balls on a plate, essentially, for some of our forwards, and he did do that throughout the game, then it just adds another dimension to his game, and it's just exciting to watch. I love it. And, one of his pinpoint passes did end up going to our forward, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who did finish it off. It was a pretty straightforward goal for him, but it's nice to see him back in the goals as well. And for that goal, also got to give some credit to Granit Xhaka, who, I think Tierney played a ball into him, and then Xhaka played it back to Tierney. Lovely vision there, splitting the defence, and Tierney with the easy cut back to Aubameyang. But, Xhaka, he obviously gets a lot of critics when he makes a mistake, holds onto the ball too long, or does something, crazy. But when he does, play well, you got to give him props as well, and I thought he was good tonight. When he came on for Joe Willock, he controlled the midfield, was dynamic in his passing, didn't hold onto the ball for too long, and I thought he was good. I was also encouraged by Pablo Mari, again, who, since he's been in the side as well, and playing in the last few Premier League games alongside Rob Holding, he's been very solid for us. He's looked calm, composed, his passing's been good, and today he wasn't really troubled either. And likewise, his partner, David Luiz, was also very good. He showed his importance with some of his, with his passing ability, his passing range. He showed us that we have another option with that long ball over the top at times, because, our midfield is still not creative enough to find that incisive killer pass. So that long ball from David Luiz, can be a good option for us, as we saw a couple of occasions tonight. Now, just to stay on the defence a little bit longer, Pablo Mari, he's really, potentially making a case to take that left side centre-back spot. But the only issue is he's competing with a player who is arguably one of our best performers this season in Gabriel. And I'm just happy to see that, Gabriel's got some real competition there, and hopefully Mari can push him on. With David Luiz, I'm just encouraged. I'm happy to see him play well as well, because there were a lot of reports that him and Arteta weren't talking and things like that. So if he can, continue providing his mentoring to the younger players, and then when he comes in, put in performances like he did against Newcastle, I'm all for it. So anyway, that win against Newcastle means that Arsenal are now 4 games unbeaten in all competitions, which, it's not the most impressive stat of all time, but considering where we were, a month ago, it's really been a great turnaround. And although the performance was by no means dazzling tonight, hopefully we did carry through that momentum from our past 3 wins, and hopefully we can carry that through into the Premier League match against Crystal Palace.